All right, hi guys. So I'm sorry I can't be with you today, but these are the materials that we're going to use. I want you to get out your materials. You're going to have your journal. You're going to have the painting that we've painted before, some more canvas paper, a strip of it, some writing utensil, a flat brush, right? It has that flat edge, and there's some at my desk if you don't have any. Some paper towel, some water, your acrylic paint that you need, all of it from the kit, and your palette. At home, you're going to have your um, plate, and in school, you're going to have your cardboard palettes. So go ahead and get all those stuff out. Um, and we'll get started. You can pause the video when you need to. You're also going to have a glue stick, and the first thing you want to do is glue in your practices that we did last time. So go ahead and do that right now, and you want to glue it right next to the trees practice at the very top of your page. And remember to use lots of glue. This canvas paper is thicker and it needs lots of that glue stick, so go over several times. Once you've used that glue stick, then put some pressure on it. Put it at the top of the page. Put some pressure on it and burnish it down with your hands there. And when you're done, you can pause the video and get ready for the next step. Alright, so here we're back, and you're going to be mixing a grass green and a brown. So remember, we mixed phthalo green and yellow to make a grass green. So I'm getting out my paints here. Phthalo green plus yellow. Make sure you shake your paints. And you're going to get a little bit maybe bigger than a chocolate chip size because you are going to use your grass green a lot today. So put the two paints a little bit farther apart so that you can mix them together, and make sure, mix little bits at a time, but you do want to mix more green paint today, grass green. So here I am washing my brush, and every time you wash it, you want to wash it really, really, really well, and then you want to dry it in your paper towel and kind of squeeze a little bit, get that water out. And then you're going to add your yellow in. We've been doing this for a little while, so this shouldn't be new stuff. This is kind of review. But you can see I'm really trying to get the paint to stay in one little tiny area. And if I need more yellow, I can add more yellow in. I definitely need more yellow. So you can swatch it here on your journal to see how much it matches. So yeah, need more yellow there. Just adding more yellow in. Really want it to be that grass green, not too dark. So now I'm taking a little bit and making a second spot because I want to make the brown. So I need to add the red to the grass green. So I lifted up some of the green, made a new little puddle. I'm going to put down some red, shake it up, put some red in there. Don't use all of it at once, right? So scoop a little bit in. You can always swatch on the side of your journal. But you don't want it to be army green. You really do want it to be brown. So if it's still kind of green tone, there I am swatching. If you need to, add more red. Go ahead and do this and come back when you're done. Alright, so now we're going to talk about what we did last time. Remember, we did a bush with a chisel edge, a splayed brush, and a flat edge. So those are technically 3 bushes. So we're going to flatten out our brush here and make 3 bushes. And it's okay if it kind of goes off the canvas page and onto your journal. So get your brown on your brush, and we're just going to make some bush branches here. So I'm going to start over on the left side. I need to make 3, so I'm kind of giving myself room. So I'm just with my flat brush making some branches. They kind of cross over each other like a bush would, kind of all tangled up. And then you're going to make another bush branches here. And you can see how I make them different every time. And then you want to make a third one. So it's okay again if they kind of go off the page. Just want to get those 3 laid out. The next thing you want to do is flatten that brush to a chiseled edge. You can kind of see there, kind of like a knife edge, but it's a chisel edge, right? So flatten out the bristles, and we're going to do the chisel edge. I just zoomed in here. We're going to use our regular grass green, and you're just putting it on the tip of the brush there. And if you need to, you can kind of pounce it off on, see, I got it too much paint, so I just pounce it off on my journal, and then we're just touching down, touch, touch, touch. Just makes like a line with that chisel edge. It kind of looks like a fern, or maybe some sort of evergreen bush. Okay, you want to go right over the branches. Make it look all kind of tangled and interwoven, just touching with our flat brush. Let's go ahead and try this. You just let the video play, and we'll pause it before we go to the next one to make sure that you have enough time. So I'm going to label this chisel edge just so that it's obvious for you guys. And I want you to go ahead and finish this chisel edge bush, and we can pause the video and then we can come back and do the next bush. So now I am cleaning my brush, and I'm going to do the splayed brush. So remember, that is where you start to separate out the bristles. You can see I'm kind of trying to separate them out from the bottom. Okay, gently. I'm not actually folding them in half, just kind of separating them out. It should look really frayed, like frizzy hair, right? And then you're going to go into your paint with just the tip of your brush, and you can kind of test it on the side of your journal. You can see it's just the tip of your brush has some paint on it. Not a lot of paint. Beginners use too much paint, so less is more. There you go. You can see I'm just pouncing straight up and down, and it gives you a different look of the foliage. You want to go all the way across over your branches, covering them up. There, I got too much on my brush, so I'm just going to pounce it all off. Less is definitely more with this one. Remember, you're just going to pounce straight up and down. So you should be working along. If you're not, pick up your paintbrush, get going. Once I'm done labeling this, we can pause the video and give you a few more minutes to work. So this one is called Splayed Brush. Go ahead and pause the video. All right, so we're back here. I'm cleaning my brush and I'm putting the bristles back together so it's not splayed. So I really need to coax it back together, squeezing the bristles, putting some pressure on them down at the bottom there to really get them back into shape. It's really helpful to do. And this next one is the flat edge. So we're going to put the whole paintbrush flat down, and you can see how much paint is on my brush, flat down into the paint, like that. So kind of the opposite of what we've been doing. And we're just going to flash the flat edge down, and that creates a third kind of texture or look. Try to use all the paint in your brush so you're going to get a variety of value of that green, and just fill it in. We're going to get a little bit of white because we want to have some lightness to this bush, some highlights. So I'm just going to put a little bit of white down, like a tiny chocolate chip size, and mix it in with some green. So taking a little bit of green, moving it to a new spot on my palette, mixing it in with the white. And I'm just pushing the flat edge down right on top over all the branches and the other foliage. That is my flat edge bush. Okay, so go ahead and finish that up. You can pause the video, and when we come back, we're going to do something new. All right, so we're going to get out a new piece of canvas paper. In class, I have these already cut for you. At home, you're going to take your piece of paper along the long edge, and you're going to fold it like hamburger style, right? And make a really nice crease. It's pretty thick paper, and then you're just going to cut it in half. You're just going to use 1/2 of this canvas paper today. Remember, we're using the kind of creamy side, not the bright white side. And today we're going to be doing some grasses. So we're going to use our same paint here. The grass green is perfect for the grasses. The brown we'll be using to kind of mix in. We'll also be using our green with white. So what you want to do is, I think I'm going to have you guys label it first. So get out some pen to label, and we want to write down Meadow Grass. And this is with a flat brush. So go ahead and put a flat brush as well. So when you look back, you know how to do it. And meadow grass is like the grass that's either on a lawn or that's been mowed or that's like maybe grass pretty far away. Okay, so I was just squeezing together my bristles to kind of put them back together. But you're going to take just some of the green paint on the tip of your brush there. You can see how much is on there, not a lot. And you're going to pounce up and down. And you kind of got to go in like a zigzag. See how I went up and down, kind of like making M's? And you're going to try to use all the paint on your brush. So after you go that way, go back up another layer and go more M's. And it's okay if you go over the top of other paint. You might want to actually go over that first part again and kind of blend it out. But then I'm going to go back with some more paint and go back over. And you're going to do this a whole bunch of times. You want to get it so that it's almost full, that you can see some of the canvas paper behind it, but not all of it. Okay, so you're just going to keep pouncing on top, filling in with just that regular grass green. So I hope that you're working along with me and just picking up your paintbrush and starting painting. I wish I could be there with you guys today. Sorry I can't. I'm fine. I'm not sick. But I thought this video would be a better substitute than just writing down the directions, right? Okay, so I'm filling in some of those areas, just really trying to get the paint in the texture of the canvas paper, kind of pushing it down in there. You can see I'm going fast. You want to go fast, right? You don't want to go slow. If you're thinking that I'm going too fast, then you need to speed up because the fastness actually gives it kind of an action that you can't get from just going really slow. Okay, so now I'm going to make some pounces with my lighter green. So this is just green plus white. And I'm putting it on the tips of my brushes and I'm going in and I'm going on top of, but not completely covering. I still want to leave areas where there is that regular green. You want to cover up some of the canvas paper, some more of the canvas paper. Our goal at the end would be for you to have no canvas paper showing through. Okay, so I'm just going around and going on top and putting a second layer, this time with the light green. Okay, so there's my light green. I can still see some of the regular green behind it. Or coming through it. And the next thing I want to do is make a dark green. And so most people think, oh yeah, add black to the dark green. You don't want to add black. Black is not a color really found in nature, except for like charcoal and stuff like that. And so you want to take your green and you want to make a little section off to the side, and then you want to add your brown to it to darken it. It should still be green though, like a dark green. So I'm just putting little bits of green into my and brown together. You can see I'm adding a little bit more brown until I get a dark olive green. And if you need to, you can swatch it on your journal to see if it's the right color. I needed to add a little bit more green to it. Okay, so I hope you're mixing your paint along with me. And then we're just going to go on top, and we're not going to do too much of this. We're just going to leave some more space in between our pounces. You can see that I'm really not doing that much. Just adding in some of that shadow. If it gets really dark like it is on the left side there, you can kind of pounce over it a couple of times or go back in another layer, which is what I'm going to do. So I can add another layer of regular green. I can add another layer of light green, or I wouldn't add another layer of dark green, but you do want to add another layer on top. And I think I'm just going to add another layer of regular green to kind of mask and blend in some of the darker green. So just with my regular green here on the tips of my brush here. I'm going to go in and pounce, 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 pounce. Right on top. Blending it all in. So once you've finished this, get ready for the next one. You can see, you just kind of want to make your grass look like grass. So having that variety of color. All right, so I'm going to finish up here. You can pause the video and have a little bit more time in class, and then we'll do the next kind of grass. Okay, so the next one we're going to do is reed grass. So I'm going to clean my brush off here, and reed grass, you want to push those bristles back together again. You're going to take some of your green meadow or grass paint right on the tips, and you're just going to pull up, like drag up. And you might want them sometimes to go right or left, go pretty tall, and again go quick and use all of the paint on your brush. See how I'm using all the paint? Dark to light. Go back over to the dark while it's still wet if you're quick enough, and you can move that around some more. So working quickly is a skill. If you get too much on your brush, tap it off on your journal here, because you just want it on the tips. So less is more with the paint on your brush. You're going to pull it up and go back over it, kind of go in different angles. This reed grass is like the really tall grass. Maybe it's a meadow that hasn't been mowed in a really long time, or just that type of grass that's really tall. Okay, just get a little bit more on my tips of my brush. So go ahead and do this. You can pause the video, and when you come back, you can do something else. Okay, so now I'm going to do some highlights. So I think I need to mix some more for me. So I'm going to just add a little bit of green here, and then a little bit of white. Shake up my white. Mix it together. And again, just from the tips, have some going off to the right, off to the left. Using all that paint on your brush. It should be really wispy and dry up here at the top. Let's go ahead and do that, and then when you can pause the video, and when you come back, we'll put in some shadow. Okay, so I'm going to put in some shadow. Again, it's my green with my brown. So if it's still wet, you can still use it. If not, take some of your green, take some of your brown, mix it together. You're making a dark green. And you just want to go these a little bit shorter. It's almost like the under part of it. Make sure it goes in different directions. Go back over it and kind of blend it out a little. And if you want to, you can go, once it's a little bit drier, you can go back in with your regular green again, or you can just leave it like that. I like mine, so I'm going to leave it like that. But you want to keep working with it. Work with the different dark green, light green, regular green. And I'm just going to label this, oh, not meadow grass, reed. Okay, so get that done. You can pause the video and we'll come back and we'll do one more thing. So the last thing we're going to do is we're going to do a cat tail. Okay, very fun. You know, cat tails, you might see them along the road around here. First I'm going to take my brush, get it nice and clean, just put it in my green, just the tips in the green, and you know what, let's just make some, pretend that's just like the ground. Just do that. Take just some green like that, make a ground for the cattail to sit on. And then take your green with the green on the tips, and you're just going to use it like a touch and a touch, and it might go, you know, off to the left and then off to the right, or it's not necessarily perfectly straight up and down, but see how it has those sections, almost like bamboo a little. And then at the top, you're going to take the corner of your brush, put the corner of your brush into your brown, and just dot upwards for the top of the cattail. And then the bottom part of the cattail here, we're going to put in some brown kind of foliage. So I'm just getting some brown on my brush, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to push down with some pressure and then let up with the pressure, and I'm going to kind of curve my brush like this. So really watch this step, okay? Look up on the screen. So you're going to push down, and then you're going to let up. You can push down again if you want. So you're going to get these kind of thick and thin. I can't do it slow. I got to do it a little faster. There we go. Ooh, get some variety of thickness there. Thick, thin. So pushing down, letting go. Thin is the letting go. Okay, and you can put a whole bunch in there if you want. Right? There's probably some back in here. Get a little bit of brown on the edge here. Don't make them all the same height. Make some taller. Make this one taller here. Some shorter. Okay, those are cattails. Okay, so the end of today, this is what you should have for your work today. Make sure you put your name somewhere here and maybe this is what? Either 3 or 4B, right? It's a B day today. Okay. So this will be on Canvas in case you need to rewatch it. And I'll see you in class. Bye, guys.